Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rockefeller University. Tonight is a very special occasion. It's one of the highlights of Rockefeller University's year. We are gathered to celebrate the 7th annual presentation of the Pearl Meister Greengard Prize. This is an international award recognizing outstanding women in biomedical science. And I want to thank you all for coming to join us on this occasion. It's a real show of support for this prize that Paul Greengard and his wife Ursula, who are sat here in the front row, and other generous friends of Rockefeller have helped establish here at the university. And I want to take a moment to provide you with some background on this important award. As I know many of you are aware, in 2000, Paul Greengard was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicinal Physiology for his crucial discoveries about brain biochemistry. His many discoveries are pointing the way towards a better understanding of neurological and psychiatric disorders. Even quite recently, his research on Alzheimer's made the news. That was only in September. And also this year, he received, and I know he's very pleased to have received this, the Bicentennial Medal from the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm. The Karolinska is the institute that does give the Nobel Prize. Paul and his wife Ursula donated very generously the his monetary share of the Nobel Prize to create the Pearl Meister Greengard Prize for outstanding women scientists. It's Paul's belief that women are not being recognized at a level commensurate with their scientific contributions. They established this award in the memory of Paul's mother, Pearl Meister Greengard, who died giving birth to Paul. It's a very poignant story. A number of Rockefeller supporters also came forward to contribute to the endowment of this new prize, and we are grateful for all their generosity. This is awarded annually. It honors women whose achievements in the biomedical research merit international recognition. I have to say we were very pleased when it was announced last year that 2 of the 2008 Greengard Prize recipients, Elizabeth Blackburn and Carol Grider, were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2009. It's clear where we lead, Stockholm follows. Tonight we will honor 2 further excellent women scientists, Doctors Mary Claire King and Janet Rowley, who are the co-recipients of the 2010 Pearl Meister Greengard Prize. They were chosen by the members of the selection committee, and I just want to thank them. They included President Emeritus Thorsten Wiesel, Richard Axel of Columbia, Rockefeller professors Gunther Blobel, Titia de Lange, and Corrie Bargman, and Joe Goldstein, who is a Rockefeller trustee, David Sabatini of NYU, a Rockefeller alumnus, and is also a trustee, is a Rockefeller alumnus, and Philippa Marek, recipient of the 2005 Pearl Meister Greengard Prize. I also serve on the committee myself. I also want to take a moment to thank the presenter selection committee, who ensure that every year this prize is presented by an outstanding woman. This, not necessarily in the area of biomedicine. In fact, we prefer that not to be the case. This committee includes Ursula herself, Judy Perkovitz, Carol Einiger, Robin Newstein, and Marnie Pillsbury. And I want to thank them for their commitment for this prize, and we're glad that you have invited Andrea Mitchell, who will be with us later on this evening. Lastly, I really want to welcome the university science outreach students and mentors who are joining us this evening. This is a program that pairs area high school students with scientists in the Rockefeller labs for summer internships. And we're delighted to have you with us tonight. Now, I want to share with you a short film produced last year by Paul and Ursula's daughter, Ursi, and her colleague, William Fitzgerald. The film features Paul Greengard, with the 2009 Greengard Prize recipient, Suzanne Corey, and the presenter, Wafa El-Soda, who all appear in the film, together with an MD, PhD student, Kirti Magurdia. So we're going to show that film, which I'd like you to enjoy, and then I'm going to come back here and continue the programme. Could we start the film, please?
My most successful accomplishment in the athletic world was winning the New York State Potato Sack Championship race of the Boy Scouts of New York when I was 12 years old. I was a small kid. You know, the big kids would choose for the football, and if it was an even number, I got chosen last. If it was an uneven number, I didn't get to play because I was an odd person. So this is my great opportunity to excel.
I'm a quilter. I started quilting a few years ago, and it's really exciting just because it's something very detail-oriented, and I think it's always exciting to make something that you can use.
I feel that maybe in another life, I could have been a writer maybe, or a historian. Every now and then I try to read about history, and I enjoy very much reading history.
My favorite thing in the world is to go out in the winter into the Australian desert camping. It is such an incredibly beautiful, vast landscape. Being out in that primitive landscape somehow puts life in perspective. It renews the soul.
Genesis of the Pearl Meister Greengard Prize goes back to the year 2000 when I won the Nobel Prize in Physiology of Medicine for our work on the brain. And my wife and I were trying to decide what to do with that money, and we both agreed that it would be nice to set up a prize to honor the most outstanding woman or women in the world each year for their work, specifically in the area of biomedical research.
I think the Pearl Meister Greengard Prize is amazing. I think the story behind it, both from the personal side and the scientific side, is truly remarkable.
The prize is called the Pearl Meister Greengard Prize because it was named in honor of my mother, who died giving birth to me. I obviously never knew her. She was by all accounts, a very talented woman, and she was restricted to doing secretarial work. And it seemed that it would be a nice thing, since I wanted to do something about discrimination against women, to name it in her memory.
This prize is quite unique and very special to me, because I think there are very few prizes that are uniquely established to honor women, and particularly uniquely established to honor women in the sciences.
Events like the Greengard Award are great because they get us all excited into seeing that there will be some recognition, and even though some of the statistics are against us, there's still a lot of opportunities out there.
The world has changed for women in science. But if you look at the statistics, it hasn't changed nearly enough, despite huge advances. More than 50% of the PhD students are women, more than 50% of the postdocs are women. But if you look at the senior positions, the statistics are still very bad.
You really see that a lot of the advisors you have are men, and a lot of your choices are working with men, even though a lot of the students are women.
Before I came to Rockefeller, the director of graduate studies in our department at a major medical school came to ask my advice about who we should put on the thesis committee of a female graduate student. I said, so-and-so, of course. He said, we cannot have her. I said, why not? He said, because she's a woman. And I said, what's that have to do with anything? And he said, well, you can't put a woman faculty member on the thesis committee of a woman graduate student.
When I gave my very first talk, there were only 2 women speakers.
Often women face particular challenges, and it's often not easy.
It's a little bit scary to think that I'm taking into account, how this will affect whether I'm able to have a family as well as have a career in science, and I want to really be making those choices.
Those of us involved with this prize were delighted when the 2008 Pearl Meister Greengard Award winners went on to win the Nobel Prize in 2009. Even if all discrimination against women were abolished, I would still love to see the prize continue, if for no other reason than as a memorial to the discrimination that women labored under in previous years.
I think that it's taken a long time, but finally people are realizing that they just have not been seeing what is in front of their eyes.
Nice film. I'd like now to introduce Andrea Mitchell, Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent at NBC News. She's considered one of the most recognizable and trusted journalists in the industry and has been on the front lines of major international news stories for more than 30 years. She's covered 5 presidents, interviewed major foreign leaders, and reported from far-flung places throughout the world, including North Korea, Bosnia, Kosovo, and the Middle East. She's traveled with President Reagan to summits with Mikhail Gorbachev and has had several interviews, I believe, with the Cuban President Fidel Castro. Andrea has received several Emmy Awards for her reporting. In 2005, she wrote a memoir entitled Talking Back. She currently hosts Andrea Mitchell Reports, which is a daily political news program on MSNBC, which I'm sure many of you know. Please join me in welcoming Andrea Mitchell to the podium.